Welcome to Chamber Talk. We got another great show today. I want to welcome my good friends from Oconee EMC, Jennifer and Autrey. And today we're going to learn a little bit more about some of the things that the EMCs do in the community that you may not know. And more importantly, a very hot topic right now throughout many states and communities, solar power. And I'm guessing many folks watching the show, like myself, I did a little bit of research and tried to find out pros and cons to solar and why or why not. And hopefully Autrey's going to answer some of those questions for us today. But I want to jump right in and say, Jennifer, again, and Autrey, welcome and thank you for coming today. Tell me a little bit about our Oconee EMC here and just some of the programs and projects and things that you guys work on in the communities that people might not even be aware of.
Sure. So Oconee EMC serves parts of 7 counties in central Georgia. So we have a total of approximately 9,000 members and 13,000 meters.
Okay, and let me stop real quick. You mentioned members. So
Yes, sir.
tell me about the makeup of the EMC.
Absolutely. So Oconee EMC is a member-owned cooperative. So we're very different from an IOU, which is an investor-owned utility. So we are member-owned. Each member pays a $5 member fee. And so they are our owners. We have an annual meeting where they get to decide and are a part of the challenges that we face. And so we don't have profits, we have margins. And so as we are member-owned, each year our members get a portion of those margins back in the form of capital credits.
Fantastic. Okay. And Autrey, tell me a little bit about what you do.
I'm the COO. I'm over the engineering and operations department. So I oversee the day-to-day operation of building and maintaining the system power lines.
Okay. And either one of you can answer this question for me. Would we say that Oconee EMC, you guys are providing power where you're providing power and that's the power you're going to provide? Do you guys grow continually and reach out to new communities?
So in the 1970s, there was something passed called the Territory Act. And so that's where the service territory lines were drawn out. So that is where we determine who serves whether it be an EMC or Georgia Power as an investor-owned utility. So we could potentially serve more as new subdivisions are built, more so in the rural territory, in the rural areas, but we also have something called customer choice. So when larger loads, industry, businesses, manufacturers, distribution centers, whatever it might be, when they come in and they project that they will have over 900 kW connected, load-wise, then it's a bidding process. So we can bid with Georgia Power or the other EMCs, whatever it might be. So there's always room for growth.
Okay, fantastic. And one more quick thing before we get into solar, which is our main reason for meeting today. But I want each of you maybe to take just a minute to talk about, because this is a hot topic. Jennifer, you're on our board and we just finished a board meeting,
Yes.
Workforce. So what are you needing and maybe requirements or benefits or anything of folks that could come to work for Oconee EMC?
Autrey?
Well, fortunately for us, we do not have a lot of turnover in our operations and engineering department. The guys that come seem to love it and stay. We have began to hire a few guys, some of the more recent guys from some of the climbing schools, the lineman schools that they have around Georgia. There's several good schools in North Georgia, South Georgia, and Southwest Georgia that a lot of the guys go to. But does it require a degree to be a lineman? A high school education is all that's required, but hard work. Okay. And we have a lot of gentlemen that fit that bill.
And what would we say to a parent or a young adult that's watching the show today that says, I might want to get involved in that, or I'm interested in that? Who do they go to, or where do they start to say, I want to have a career in the EMCs?
Well, they're welcome to come see us. If they want, if they're interested, they're welcome to come talk to us, and we'll be glad to show them around. We're limited on certain things we could allow them to do and participate in, but we'll be glad to show them and see if they're interested.
Fantastic. Anything to add to that?
We also are open to internships. That's actually how I came with Oconee EMC, I was interning as a senior in college. So we're open to that, and just like Autrey said, if this is something you want to do, maybe from a field service representative side, lineman, even the member service representatives, the more office administration side, just come see us and we'll walk you around and answer questions.
We'll have to talk more about some possible partnerships there.
Yeah.
So we're going to take one real quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and jump right into this issue with solar. We'll be right back.
Whether you're a Braves fan or a Dogs fan, it feels good to be a winner. I'm Don Carswell, and you'll have fun with a winning deal from Dublin Chevy Nissan. Come and see our championship selection of new and pre-owned trucks here at Dublin Chevy Nissan. Titan or Frontier, it's your choice. Sierra or Silverado, you're the winner. For the W, all you have to do is call, click, or come in. And remember, Don sells cars well, only at Dublin Chevy Nissan.
Conservative treatment options are typically where we start with both knee and hip arthritis. So if you come in to see us and your hip is beginning to be arthritic or your knee's beginning to be arthritic, there's sort of a stepwise approach that we take. Anti-inflammatories, which are medicines like Motrin, Advil, Aleve, are usually sort of first line. We have prescription forms of those medications that we can use. In our elderly population, that becomes a little more difficult because they have comorbidities, things like diabetes or stomach ulcers or disease, that they can't take those medications, even hypertension. So we'll try to treat them with medications if it's appropriate. When it's not, then we go on to things like injections. So cortisone injections, or there's these things called visco injections or visco supplements, which are lubricating type injections that we can use to treat knee arthritis as well as hip arthritis to try to control people's pain. And a lot of times we do that for years for people before they get to the point where those are no longer working and we're ready to talk about knee or hip replacement.
Okay, welcome back to the show, and again, thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to come and meet with me. Let's just jump right in solar. Why solar? Why not? I'm going to let you guys do most of the conversation here. You know more about this than I do and what issues or opportunities are out there, so let's talk about solar.
Okay, so I think the first thing we need to address, what is the end result that our members are seeking? Is it to be green? Is it for maybe a lower light bill? What exactly is their end result in this? And so from there, I think that's where the conversation needs to start, because that may mean we take a whole different approach. If it's to save on their light bill, okay, let's see if we have other energy efficient options available. Okay. Because solar is very costly. And from our experience over the last few months, our members don't have a clear understanding of what that end result will be with solar. And so our main push today in having those conversations with our members is we want to be your trusted energy source. So if you have any questions about solar or energy efficiency upgrades that you need to make to your home, come see us and let's work through that process. So we want to be more on the front end, not the back end of those conversations.
So what would you guys say to someone that maybe that's the question? I live in a 2,500, 3,500 square foot home, and I want to weigh my options. What is there going to be cost savings?
So far, that we've seen, it takes $3,000 to $5,000 per kilowatt hour that you use. So with a 2,500 square foot home, you may very well use 3,000 kilowatt hours. So times that by $3,000 to $5,000, and we'll kind of see what potential cost savings you have. But there are a lot of things that you need to look at on the forefront. Is what is the condition of your roof? Are you looking for rooftop solar? Are you looking for maybe we have a few members that have solar panels stationary in their backyard. So that's something you need to take into account to begin with. What kind of solar are you looking for? Where is your house facing? And so if your roof isn't facing a certain direction, or your roof almost is getting ready to need to be replaced, solar isn't the thing for you.
And let me ask, maybe you answer this. So we had rain for 3 days in a row and clouds. do I still have power? Do I have less power? How does all of that
You
work?
still have power, but it will be coming from us, not the solar panels.
Right.
So even if you have solar, you're still going to have additional power
That
sources
is a
into your
misconception
system.
from a lot of people. They seem to think, we've had these questions, Jennifer and I.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that I have solar, I was told I'll no longer have a power bill. Well,
Right.
that's not so. One of the things most people that work during the day, most of their usage is in the evening and at night, where solar panels are not doing any good because the sun's already gone down, unless you have some type of storage facility, and most people do not have storage or batteries. Your solar panels aren't doing any good in the evening. So most people that get home after work at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, they cook, shower, wash clothes. You're using energy from the utility, not from the solar panels.
So is there not stored energy from the solar panel itself?
There is,
Okay.
but that's extra cost that you will have to purchase from the solar provider
Right.
to install. And right now, there's the most popular storage unit is a Generac. It's a battery storage unit that is installed. It can store energy, so you can use it when the peak time of the day is, or the sun is not shining. Now, how much that storage is, it'll be dependent on how much you want to spend.
And you guys tell me, so is solar a competitor of the EMC? Is it an accessory of the EMC? How does that
So
work?
Oconee EMC is also a member of Green Power EMC. So we have a renewable portfolio. And that was kind of what I was getting at the very beginning. What is your goal? Is it
Okay.
to save energy? Is it to go green? Because Oconee EMC already is invested in numerous projects around the state, whether it be solar farms, whether it be biomass. We have some facilities up in Rabun, Georgia. So what's your goal? Because we could provide, if you just want to go green, we already have those things in place where you could buy blocks of energy.
Okay, and let's just say, for instance, I live over in Cedar Creek, and I'm interested totally in saving money. I'm really not a green person and so forth and so on, but I want to save money. So talk to me about how the money savings look, and you mentioned roof panels versus solar panels. I don't want it to look like, 40 solar panels in my yard, and I don't
Right.
know if that, even with the neighborhood association, how that's impacted. But if I put them in my roof, of course, every so often you have to have a roof repair. So talk to me about some of those issues. How does that work?
Well, first of all, you got to consider, before you install it, the age of your roof, because obviously, eventually your shingle is going to have to be replaced. And it can become very costly to have someone to have to come in and remove the panels to replace your roof, because basically you're reinstalling it back on your roof. So if I don't have a magic number. If your roof
Sure.
is,
amount
older than
of
10
years,
years,
right.
you need to do this, but that's something you got to consider. Because you also need to consider the size of the unit you're installing, which will determine, that's going to determine the cost, your upfront costs of the solar panels, but it also determines the amount of savings you'll have each month, which will determine how long it's going to take for you to break even.
And let me ask too, 2,500 to 3,000, 3,500, whatever in that ballpark. Am I looking at one medium-sized panel in my roof? Am I looking at my entire roof looking like a solar panel? How much?
So are you wanting to?
I want to save money.
Okay, so just to give you some rough figures, we have one member in particular who has a home comparable to what you're describing. They spent $57,000 on their solar array, and I looked. They are getting back, when they put power back on the grid from their solar array, anywhere between $20 to $60 per bill. So they still.
It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take a long time, right? So our push is, could you have used that money to made energy efficient upgrades to your home, whether it be a new higher tonnage HVAC, ductwork, insulation, what could we have done different?
Okay, so I'm just going to ask point blank, if I said Autrey solar or not, what do you say?
I don't discourage anybody from doing it, but I just want you to understand the facts. If you're doing it strictly from a, one of the first questions I ask is, what is the purpose? Are you doing it to save money? Are you doing it because you want to have backup power during storms?
Okay, let's look at your first one. Am I going to save money? Because it doesn't sound to me like more, unless I'm living in a 5,000 square foot home or something, maybe there would be some realized savings there. But for our average homeowner, it doesn't sound like cost savings from what I'm hearing. At least not on the front end.
No, it's typically it would take you up to 20 years before you broke
to
even.
Save money.
To save money,
Wow.
yes.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't sound like a great investment to me as far as from a cost.
Well, and there
standpoint.
again, it depends on what are you trying to
Right.
accomplish.
But
Yes.
so now let's flip and say, okay, I'm trying to look out for the ozone and the atmosphere, and I want to be a good person and do my neighborly duty, then
Right.
it sounds like absolutely
yes,
solar
if you're
is the
looking
way
at
you would go.
renewable energy and your carbon footprint, yes, solar is probably the way you would want to go.
So give me some pros and cons of energy supplied from you guys versus solar. I know, of course, we talked about weather conditions. Is there any difference if I've got all the appliances on in my house at one time? Am I having more energy, or is something not working as efficiently as it would normally, or are there pros and cons to?
Well, the pro with a solar system is to use as much of your energy during the day,
Okay.
because what that does is you're using what you're generating rather than buying it from us.
Okay.
You get more benefit by using what you're generating rather than selling it back to us. Because what you sell back to us, what we're going to do is we're going to purchase that from you at what we call our avoided costs. Basically the same that we have to purchase our own power, which our rate is 6.5 cents. So if you're able to use that energy rather than selling it back to me, then you're benefiting yourself from that standpoint, which means you need to be doing those things during the day, not
Okay.
at night.
Or have the capability that you're harvesting
So
what you're
could
producing.
you take the energy from my home and actually sell that or use that in someone else's home?
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes, but because what you're doing is you're just putting it back onto the power line. The meter, we have a bidirectional meter, and what it does is it reads what you use from us, but it also reads what you're putting back onto the grid.
So are you guys seeing an increase in people doing this, or is?
We have, and much like I described from that one member, we're on the back end of it. And so we get phone calls, why are you still sending me a bill? I was told we wouldn't get a bill because we had the solar array. So we want to go ahead and try to knock out those situations on the forefront and start those conversations. So
Okay.
that way they have a realistic expectation. But yes, we have seen an uptick in the solar.
How about from an industry or manufacturing standpoint? Is there a huge difference there?
Are you talking about from the uptick in solar?
Cost savings or even interest in going to solar?
So that prompted part of the conversation that we had a little bit ago. We are seeing the same thing throughout the state. And so we've had several statewide meetings to discuss solar and the impact that it's had on our members, much like that situation I described with that one particular member. Why am I still getting a bill? So that's happening all across the state. So we're doing a real big push statewide to educate our members that we want to be your trusted energy source.
Well, hey, I got a few more questions I still need to ask. I know we need to take one more commercial break, but we'll take that break and come right back to some more questions. Again, thank you, Autrey and Jennifer with Oconee EMC, for being here today.
The City of Dublin Natural Gas provides the most cost-efficient source of energy available today. So for your home, choose the most natural resource. Safe, clean, efficient. All new subdivisions around the Dublin area have natural gas available. Start reducing your energy bills today with Dublin City Natural Gas Department. Natural gas, the smart choice. Call 277-5048 today and let us help you start saving today.
All right, boys, if you want to go to college, you have to clear out another one of these.
What if we told you there was a better way to save for your kids' college than pickle jars? Morris Bank's Savings Builder account and moolah makes saving for your kids' college easier than ever. All you have to do is connect the account to your debit card, where it automatically rounds up your purchases to the nearest dollar, depositing that spare change into a moolah account where it will grow into a nice little nest egg for whatever your kids have their sights set on.
Welcome back to the show again. Great conversation today on solar energy. And Jennifer, as we were talking during the commercial, another offering of the EMC, and I don't want to steal the thunder, is how you can help guys to, or homeowners or whatever else to be more efficient and save money. Talk to me about what you guys offer.
Absolutely. So we have a field service rep, our AMI technician, that will go out to our members' homes and do a walk around, check their unit, check their meter, check their well pump, things like that. Depending on if they have a crawl space or if they're on a slab, check their ductwork, their insulation, just to see if there's anything that we can catch right off the bat of why they may be using the energy that they are. As we were talking about during the break, we also do a cost analysis, and I've already done several of those this week, taking a look at the member's bill, comparing it to what they used last year. Are they doing anything different? Have they made any upgrades? And then just ask a few questions before we make a visit that we can try to drill down on maybe why you're using more energy or why there's been an increase in your bill.
And am I correct in saying this? Don't shoot me for this one. There's no charge
No,
for you to come do that.
you're a member.
So, wow.
Yeah.
That's a benefit, and sometimes I like to say, even at the chamber, we talked about in our board meeting so many offerings that the chamber has for small business, and people don't take advantage.
Right.
You're a member, and these are benefits of your membership. A great example there of a benefit that's you're already a member. Use that. Why would
Right.
you not have somebody come out and say, hey, yeah, you're doing everything great and wonderful, or here's where you could be more energy efficient and save some money.
Absolutely.
So I do have one more solar question that came to mind, and I want to know what it's an opinion, I guess, more than anything else, but solar farms. And I know when you head through Columbus, heading out, and you see these huge solar farms. Will we see more of that in the future? Do you see more of that even maybe in Lawrence County, or not as likely? What's your thoughts on that?
You very well could. I mean, there's several things that go into the installing one of those onto a grid. Proximity, the size, the credits maybe that even Georgia, the state of Georgia offers for those facilities. Speaking of those, it's interesting you bring up that the sites you're talking about are installed for nothing but generating power to sell back onto the grid. They're not for a residential home. But if you'll notice, all of these units are designed with rotating panels. They follow the sun, which goes to show you how efficient those are, or how efficient it is for the panel to be facing the direction of the sun. So it means a lot when you install rooftop solar, the direction of your house, that you may not be getting the full efficiency of that panel based on that. So but back to on these locations, you could see a lot more of those. One of the things that we have a challenge with is when we install these generating facilities is designing the grid, knowing what we're relying on during the day from a solar farm and what that does to the impact that has on the grid when the sun's not shining, because that power has to be made up somewhere else from a different facility, whether it's a coal burning, nuclear, or a hydro plant.
Right. Would it be fair to say there could be a possibility you could live in a neighborhood, or you could own a house and a property where solar just isn't even an option? Maybe depending on the lay of the land or something?
It could be. And something else you have to think about are the trees around your area.
Yeah.
Are you going to cut the trees down so you can have the best solar possible, so it could be, depending on where you're
That's kind of what I
at.
was getting at. If you
Yeah.
had huge pine trees, which
Yeah.
is very common in Georgia, and your house was built to face in a way that might not be as beneficial as to when the sun comes up and goes down, could you say, sorry, solar may not even be an option
Yeah.
for you? Or certainly, I guess that wouldn't be beneficial
Yes.
with the need. So anything else you guys want to share to say, about this solar and the growth of what we're going to see maybe in the future, or just anything to share with folks that they might need to know if they want to have a conversation related to solar?
Just that we want to be the trusted energy source for our members. So if they have questions, we'll be more than happy to meet with them, go to their location, see what direction their house is facing, what trees are around. We would love to have those conversations on the front end of the solar. So that way we can go ahead and eliminate some of their questions that they may have, and just give them the best information, because they're our members. So we want to do what's in their best interest. We have nothing to gain here other than educating them.
Okay. Anything to add to
right.
that, Autrey?
Well, we would like for them to come see us up front, because one thing people need to remember is sunshine's free, but solar is not. There's an expense and a cost there to have solar.
And I think the biggest thing, and I want to repeat that you guys have said today, is even if you go with solar, there are still costs for your energy bill. You're not going to be 100% dependent on solar and not have any other energy costs. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we didn't get into the technicalities of a solar panel, but a solar panel generates DC power. And your home is AC, or alternating current. You have to have an inverter that converts your solar panel DC to AC. So to do that, you've got to have power to run your inverter. We do not have a customer on our system that does not require power from us to operate their system.
Would there be a circumstance or situation where there could be 100% solar power?
You could.
that-
There is
okay.
situations where some people are completely off the grid, but there's drawbacks to that, sacrifices you have
Sure.
to make, things you can and can't do being completely off the grid.
Okay, fantastic. Hey guys, thank you again so much for joining me today. I do want to give you an opportunity, either one or both of you, just to look into the camera and say, hey, we're Oconee EMC and we're your energy source and provider and so much more in the community. Whatever, give you a free commercial time here for just a minute if you'd like to speak to your customers.
You go ahead.
Okay, well, we greatly appreciate all of our members and throughout the 7-county service territory that we have. And we want to be the trusted energy provider for our members. We do have a lot of great programs that we have available. So if there's anything that you may be interested in, don't hesitate to call us, 478-676-3191. My extension is 1158 and Autrey's extension is 1108. So give us a call. We can talk about it, talk through it, do a site visit. You never know until you ask.
That's right. Well, I want to say thank you again, and especially on behalf of the Chamber and the business community here. What great partners you guys are, whether it's a legislative issue, which you guys are certainly on top of and always there to support our initiatives and efforts, and workforce and education, which is huge in our community right now. We can always count on our partners at the EMC. So we appreciate you guys and your investment, helping us make today and every day a great day for business in Dublin, Lawrence County. Thank you for joining us.